This is Alice Miller interviewing Cynthia Ajukwa, who migrated from Owerri, Nigeria to Birmingham in January 2011. Today's date is the 9th of March 2018. Can you tell me about your family background?
Okay, I come from a very big family. We're a family of 7. I'm the 6th child. My parents are all living, and we come from a Christian background and a Catholic family. And we all grew up, going to church, knowing God, doing some, volunteering job, as a kid, and all my family, all my siblings, they are all grown up. And my first sister, she's married with 7 children. Then my first brother is married with 5 kids. Then my second brother lives in Europe, in Finland to be precise. He has 4 kids, and my other sister, she's not married at the moment. And I came to England 2011 to live with my husband, but unfortunately the marriage didn't work out. And then, when I came here, I met a good, friends from the church, from the Nigerian community. They put me through, even, because I went through domestic violence, and they really put me through, and that's what is keeping me going till now.
So can you tell me about growing up in Owerri in Port Harcourt in Nigeria?
Okay. It was quite challenging, growing up back home. But all the experiences are fantastic because you got your family, you got your friends around who come around to check up on you, who, you can visit them without being, informing them, or like the way we do here in England. You don't really need the invitation to visit your friends or family. You can just pop in, or just popping in to check up on you and stuff like that. And it was good. It was good experience. Growing up back home, and where you have your family, where you have everybody around. Whether you are rich or poor, everybody is equal. Nobody mind that kind of setting. So it was a really good experience, and yeah.
So what are some of your earliest memories of being in Nigeria?
The earliest memory was going to uni. I studied mathematics in one of the universities in Nigeria, and after graduation we went for National Youth Service Corps to serve for the nation for 1 year, which I taught in one of the secondary school. So during those days I met a lot of people and a lot of students, mix up with so many people with so many background, and it was really good.
So what about before university, like your primary school? What was that like?
There was it was a bit challenging because there's difference, because Nigeria being, not a developed country, so a lot of things, there's quite different between Nigeria and here, obviously. And sometimes, going to school, we have to walk down, we have to help our parents. For those of us, my parents are not learned, so they are business, self-employed, so we help them in their businesses and stuff like that. Then we still have to go to school, and we still pass our exams, because there we do exam every term, not like at the end of the year. We do exams every other then, with quite a lot of classroom exams than, writing essays and stuff like that. So is a very big challenging, where you don't have all the resources, to, do everything based on what the teacher is being taught you, and you just do whatever the teacher said or taught you. So, yeah.
So what kind of things did you do when you said you were helping your parents?
Yeah, like my mom is she's a self-employment. She does with she owns shop. So we do after school, we do help her to run an errand, to maybe to go to market to buy to go to shop to get some shopping things or something to put in the shop, and other stuff, like going to like helping in cooking, all those things. We do all those stuff to help our parents. It's not labeled as a child abuse or child labor. It's just because we have to do it. It's cultural that we have to do such things. We have to help our parents. We have to wake up, do our daily activities or routine, like getting up in the morning, having our bath, taking breakfast. All those stuff will be done by you, not like your mom getting you up or stuff prompting you to do something. So you have to do those things yourself. Yeah.
So did you feel like you had a good relationship with your parents?
I do. He's fantastic. My dad is 83 years. He's still working, doing everything himself, and my mom is 69 years. So she's brilliant. She's everything, So I'm very, very proud of them. The way they raise us up, we grow up to be independent. If not, I wouldn't have been here in the country on my own. They are not here with me. So they just brought us up in a very good way. Yeah, I'm so proud of them.
So what was your relationship with your siblings like when you were little?
The relationship is quite close because although there was big gap between my siblings, like my first sister, she's 20 years older than me. So my mom, I think she had us when when she thinks she stopped, and then being the youngest. So I have like older siblings who put us through, help us to do some things. Even when we finish our school, at the end of the day, they help us with our assignment, all those things. So we didn't get those things from our parents. Really, it's from my siblings, my older siblings. So they helped us in doing some homework and stuff like that. Yeah, so I had a very good relationship with them, even till now as well, when they have their own families. So I still have the relationship with them.
So what about your secondary school? What was your experience of that?
My experience, the secondary school, I attended a girls' school. So it was just girls only. So the experience is good because I still keep, my relationship with my friends then. I know it's been ages, but still, because of social media, so we meet up, we create a group where we chat and know what everyone is doing and stuff like that. So I still keep relationship with them. Yeah.
So how did you make friends with them?
Yeah, so like on Facebook, for instance.
So how did you make friends with the friends that you?
Okay.
So tell me about your friendships in secondary school.
Okay. During the first day of my secondary school, I met few because I'm kind of outgoing person. So we just after introduction to everyone, so we make some good friends, especially those that bear the same first name with me. So we just mingle immediately, so before as time goes on, then we become closed. Yeah, that's it.
Did you like being at an all-girls school?
Yes.
What about hobbies when you were growing up? Can you tell me about hobbies?
Okay. I engage in a lot of so many activities like dancing competition, like playing football. I was one of the female female captain in female association, female football association. So I enjoy playing football. Then I organize some, even we play with the boys as well. We have a team. We play against the boys, and dancing as well. We mix up. We dance. Like when we're doing inter-house sports. It's very common in Africa. We do inter-house sports, so we invite different schools where we play. We do some match pass. We did calisthenics. We did we did so many things. Yeah, with dancing competition, debates. It was organized between schools, both miss and all boys as well. So they would just come around. We do the debates, the competitions and stuff like that.
Can you tell me any more about some of these like dance competitions, like who were you there with, things like that?
Yeah, we dance with the boys, the cultural dance. It's not like a pop, hip hop or something. Our cultural dance, where we compose our own, song and then dance with the boys or dance or girls. Like when any activities, when some important dignitaries are coming to our school, we organize dancing competition to welcome them. The kind of welcome song we, compose that and then sing to entertain people.
So what kind of things would you dance and sing about?
So during the dancing, cultural dancing events, we sing, compose a song with the dignitaries, just to welcome them and entertain them. So we compose a song with their names and, dance along, and they spray us money because back home they do a lot of, when you do something nice, they will spray money on you to show appreciation. What you've done is really well. So they do a lot of, money spraying back home.
Sorry, was that money spraying?
Yeah, money spraying. Yeah, they throw money when you're dancing or singing or anything. You just throw money on you. At the end of the day, your group or your organization will just, because obviously when the such organization, you have a treasurer who can, hold the money and financial secretary. They will sort it out themselves. Yeah.
So did the whole school dance together?
No, they have group because in my class we have our age group, the same as other classes. Yeah, from level 1 to the final level. So we have a dancing group each. Not really that everybody will dance. It's just for people who have zeal of dancing. Others may decide to do something different, like drama group. Others will choose to do like only song. They will just sing along. Some do so many activities. Yeah.
So what about football? Like where did you learn to play football?
It's actually, I would say, it's just it runs in the blood, because all my nephews, they play, but unfortunately they don't have any funding to sponsor them international. But within Nigeria, my siblings, they play. Yeah, all my siblings, they play. They used to play football then. Then my nephews now, they play like during Christmas, during festive period, they organize football competition, which one of the rich people in the community might volunteer to sponsor the ball for the year. Then they play. At the end of the day, they anyone who plays well will take off the competition. They will win the competition. Yeah.
So then what happened when you're in secondary school? Like what subjects did you enjoy, and what was your experience like that?
Okay, I enjoyed doing biology and physics. That's my strongest subject, so I enjoyed doing them a lot. I didn't engage in arts subject, but I just like sciences. Yeah, but biology, physical education, those activities where you can get involved with so many activities. So I enjoy doing them a lot.
Mm. Yeah. So what happened next after your secondary school?
After my secondary school, I got admission in the university immediately, so I didn't waste time. But there was, kind of, I didn't have somebody to put me through because I would just want to go to university, and when I wrote my GSSCE, I didn't pass chemistry. So for that reason, most of the science courses I applied, I couldn't get it. And I didn't have that patience to, to recite the exam. What I wanted, I just want to get into the university. So I ended up studying mathematics, because that's the only course I can study without chemistry, without passing chemistry. So that's why I get into university. It was good, at least I did and I graduated. So, but it's not really what I wanted to do in life. Yeah.
So did you move out of your hometown for university?
No, still my university was within the states. Yeah, I didn't move out. It was just the same state. Yeah, but I moved out from my parents and I got my student accommodation. Yeah.
Okay, so what was that like?
The student accommodation, it was okay. It's a mixed accommodation where you have female, males. They have their own section, and yeah, it was okay. It was good. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you enjoy like the university? Like when you started there, was it exciting? Was it daunting?
Yeah, it was exciting because you meet so many people, some people who are much older than you. So you just, you have to adapt with, the environment and the people around you and, everything, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So who did you live with then?
I had roommates, we are about 4 in a room. Everybody has their own corner, So yeah, I still get in touch with I'm still in touch with those my roommates, because of social media. So just, I had a very good relationship with them. There was no issues, Yeah, it was good.
What kind of things did you get up to with your roommates?
Obviously, everyone is studying a different course. So, most of them, I think most of them at 1 year level, higher than me. So we have different lectures, we have different times. So everybody live at their own, whenever they have lectures, they just leave the house or leave the flat. That's how it was then.
So you're a student now. So how would you describe the differences between being a student then in Nigeria and now in Wolverhampton?
There's a very big difference, to be honestly. Because back home, we only, there's no facilities, and there's no, no one. You're there. Your parents are paying your school fees. They will have to work tooth and nail to make sure that your school fees, your accommodation, everything is being paid for. Not the government, not help from anyone. It's just your parents. But here, where we have, the finances come from the government, and we have all the facilities, we have all the sources to, read, study, So it's a very big, difference.
Yeah. So how have you found your experience of being at university here in the UK now? So after university, then what happened next?
After university, I met my ex-husband. Yeah, he was born and bred in England, and he came for his dad's memorial service. That's when we met by chance, and we got married. Traditionally, that means he have to take up my responsibilities. It's not longer my parents. I'm not longer, just for him, So after the traditional marriage, he traveled back to England. So I was living with one of my siblings in the city. Then I was doing some business. Then I work as well, during my year of service. So I was teaching in the secondary school. Then I was still doing some business, to support myself. And then later on, we had our civil marriage, and then I came to England after that.
So did you have a traditional wedding and then a civil marriage?
Yeah, I had all of them in Nigeria. Yeah.
So what was the wedding like? What was the wedding?
Yeah, the traditional wedding was quite in a big way. We invited, about 1,000 guests. It was a very big, even more than 1,000, because it's not strictly an invitation. You just invite people to come and celebrate with you, and after that, it was a very doing traditional wedding. That's the first marriage in Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned. If you done a traditional marriage, then you are married, whether church wedding or court wedding. That traditional wedding signifies because your bride price has been paid, so you belong to your husband. Yeah, that is the first marriage in Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned.
So what was the day like? Talk me through the cultural traditions that you went through.
It was, on the marriage date, your husband people, they come with their kinsmen, and then with my parents and my kinsmen, my own kinsmen as well, they negotiate. They pay the bride price, and they brought some drinks, some other cultural things, just to fulfill the marriage rites. Everything was done, and then the celebration started, where you have friends and family, you dance, you greet everyone, and then dance with your husband, then cut some cake and stuff like that. Yeah.
And then after that you had the civil ceremony later?
Yeah, the civil marriage was done between me and my ex-husband. There was no celebration because we intend to do a big church wedding when I come to England, but unfortunately it didn't happen.
So when you had these weddings in Nigeria, did you know that you were going to come to the UK?
Yeah, certainly, because my ex, he wanted me to come to England to explore the country a little bit, because he intends to establish in Nigeria, being a lawyer. So he wanted to establish in Nigeria. He was born and bred here. He don't understand anything about my culture or my language. So he's really, really eager to to come back to the country to learn some traditions and stuff like that. So my aim was to come here, then maybe if we have like 1 or 2 cases here, then we can move back to Nigeria. That was the intention. But unfortunately, the marriage didn't work out as we planned. Yeah.
So if your husband didn't understand these languages and traditions, what kind of things are you thinking about?
The language, the tradition, I mean, like being born here in the country, he never associates with anything cultural in Nigeria, and he has only, the longest he spent in Nigeria was the time we had our traditional wedding, which was 14 days. So that was the longest he spent in Nigeria in his life. So he don't understand like all those cultural dancing, all those how to respect elders, all those stuff. So he's not into those cultural thing. So yeah.
So when did you? So can you tell me more about the music?
Yeah, like when we want to search for your husband, You go to your dad, pick up a drink, a jar of a glass of palm wine. So your dad will put the palm wine in the glass, and you use it to search for your husband. At that time, people will be with your friends accompanying you. You go searching for your husband, and the kind of song we sang will be, have you seen my beautiful baby, oh? Have you seen my tomato baby, oh? Stuff like that, just to go look for your husband. So when you finally find him, you hand the drink over to him, and then you have to kneel down in order to present the drink to him. So after drinking it, he will put some money in the cup. Then both of you return back to your parents, so the girl's parents, then for the final blessing. Then your parents will bless you. Then you now dance, take it up from there. Dance, friends, family, dance with you and throw money on you. That's the most important thing, because when you dance, people must throw money on you. Yeah.
What happened just before you came to the UK?
I was looking forward to it. Being apart from in a distant relationship is not healthy. It's not good. So I was looking forward to join my husband in the UK. So when I finally got my visa, so it was quite exciting, and even my parents were happy as well, because initially they never supported me to be apart from my husband. So they were quite happy to hear that I've got my visa to join my husband. So they were happy. Even my friends as well, they were happy. Yeah. Then when I finally moved here, and it was different, so I used to think maybe like, England is like heaven. That's what in the pressure. But when I came, everywhere was dark. It was during winter, so everywhere was so dark, and snow oh God, it was different. I said, oh God, is this? Oh gosh, I wish to go back. I was crying. Within that couple of weeks, I was crying to go back, because the weather was terrible, the cold and everything. So it was terrible. So I was crying. If my friends called, they were like, "Oh, you are enjoying?" So no, there was no enjoyment in the country. Everyone is mind your business. No visits, no friends. You just be on your own, and mind your business. Oh gosh, I was like, am I really gonna cope with this kind of environment? Because I'm used to visiting family, friends visiting you at home. So it's just you. And in the house, it was just me and my mother-in-law, then my ex will go to work, he works in London while I'm in Birmingham. So it was just, it was a very big challenge, Yeah.
So what were some of the differences that you noticed immediately being in Birmingham?
The difference is like, you have to run to get the bus, and there's no you have to wait for the bus. You have to under the cold. There was no sun, because we are used to the hot weather. You have to wear how many layers to get yourself warm, wrapped up and stuff like that. So it was really, really a big issue. Honestly, it was a very big issue then, but you have to deal with it. Yeah.
And what about like some of the things that didn't continue? So did you bring did you bring food? Did you bring cooking? No. What did you bring with you?
Because when I was in Nigeria, my mother-in-law, she told me not to get everything, that everything is here in the country. So what I'm after was my traditional wear, because I love my culture a lot. I love my Nigerian culture, dressing like African queen. So those things are my priority. So I had to put on my traditional wears. That's the only thing that I came with, No food stores, nothing. Because my mother-in-law said everything is. And when I came, everything is here. In the African shops, in Asian shop, you find all the food. That is no different. The distance between Nigeria and here is just 6 hours by flight. So it's not far to get all those things, to import and export those things. So it's very, very easy.
So, can you describe the outfits that you brought with you?
Yeah, there's quite lots of them. Even the ceremonial ones, we have the ceremonial ones like the ones we are in a church that have Virgin Mary and Jesus on them. We have such, ones as well. Then we have the ones, you can dress like a real Africa, where you put your hair gear and everything. You just put them like, it's quite big. So I had all those things when I was coming.
So you mentioned about food shopping. Did you find that you did have everything that you wanted in Birmingham?
Yeah, everything is, although it's quite expensive, but everything the most important thing, they are available. So you have to work and, to afford those things. Everything is here. All the food. When I told my friends, that, oh, I'm eating this, how did you get it? As everything is here. There's no, I feel home because all the food we had back home is here. So I feel like I'm in Nigeria, to be honest. I feel like I'm back home because when you have those things available for you, you just feel homely, Yeah.
So what kind of meals did you cook for yourself?
We cook our traditional soup. There's difference between when you say you had soup. Our soup contains so many things. When a proper Nigerian soup, you have meat, you have fish on them, you have different vegetables on the soup, and it's quite thick and very rich. But why here, the soup we have here is just a tomato soup and vegetable soup, it's quite different. And that's our Nigerian soup. You eat it with ground rice or manna. Sorry, in Finland they call it manna, but it's actually semolina or semovita. Then we have our fufu, we have our pounded yam, we have our cassava, maize flour. We have everything, that we can, all those, flour, we can use them to eat the Nigerian soup. We have like egusi soup, oha soup, vegetable soup, edikaikon, oha soup, onubu soup. Different, all those things are vegetable mixed with, meat, fish, other seafood, or majority of them are, seafood and beef or lamb, anything you wanted to add on the soup, you can.
So did you learn to make them when you were younger and then made them?
Yeah, exactly. This is something you learn from childhood, not like being an adult. Back home we support our parents in everything. When your parents are cooking, you just help them. You just watch and observe what they are doing. So from there, you take it up. I started cooking is one of my best hobby. I started cooking when I was young. I cook like at the moment I can cook like 100 people. Yeah, I can cook like 100 people in a little. When I did my son's christening, I did all the whole cooking. The guests, I had like 150 people. I cook and serve all of them.
What did you cook?
Different Nigerian meals and English meals as well. I did different, like in my son's christening, I did moi moi, jollof rice, fried rice, or soup. We had meat pie. We had so many dishes. I make sure we had varieties, that everybody would like to eat. Yeah.
So you brought some dishes over, and what other kind of things did you bring that represented Nigeria to you?
I think the major things is the outfit, the Nigerian outfit. That's it. Yeah, that's the if you wear your Nigerian outfit or African outfit, they will know you're in Africa. So that one is I think is the best identity so far. Yeah.
So what were some of your other first experiences of Birmingham?
Initially I had a good experience, when I thought maybe when the marriage was working. So, when the relationship was still on. So I had a good relationship, not even with my ex, but his mom and his siblings. The girls especially, they are outgoing. So we go out, to the pub and, do those things. So it was a good one. Then before the domestic violence started, so So that's the bad side of it. So within those days, I was thinking of going back home because there's no point of me being here and abuse, while I have my family back home who can support me. So, but luckily for me, I met some church friends who I can confide in. So when I started talking about it and, the way I feel and what was going on in the relationship, so they, they supported me. I had the support I needed, to be honest. Yeah. They supported me, tell me what to do, if I can get women's aid, the police, if there is any need to to ring the police in case of anything, such thing happened. And I got support I needed from the Nigerian community. And when I started working as well, I got some support from my workplace as well.
So how did you find this Nigerian community in Birmingham?
Because my mother-in-law, she was an active member. She go to Nigerian Catholic community, so she introduced me. We went together, and from there I started going on my own. Yeah.
So you started going where? Sorry.
The church, because it is once in every month we have our Nigerian where we'll celebrate the mass in a cultural way, in Nigerian style, not like here. If you attend other parishes, it's just like 45 minutes or 1 hour. But during that Nigerian we can spend like 2-3 hours in a service, in a church service. We sing in different languages because in Nigeria we have 3 ethnic groups in Nigeria. We have the Hausa, the Yoruba, and the Igbo. So we try to fit everyone. We sing in different languages in the church service. And we make it homely, not rush. We bring out that day just for, for that service. We start at 2 p.m., maybe finish at 4 or 5. So we just sing along, sing in different languages, and everyone will be happy. And feel homely as well. They will be feeling like, we are back home, whereas we are in England. So they just make it, homely for people.
So is there a mix of, you mentioned the 3 ethnic groups in Nigeria, do they all mix together?
Yeah. Everyone comes because it's Nigeria. It's not like the Igbo. It's just these 3 ethnic groups that made up Nigeria. So we'll just come along because it's a Nigerian Catholic community. Yeah.
So did you learn Igbo and Hausa and...
No, I can't speak the language.
Right.
I can speak a little bit of them. But in terms of, music or, singing a song, especially for, a gospel, song or something, we have to learn, how to sing them here.
So this is how you made friends when you came?
Yeah, that's how I made friends from the church. Yeah.
So after the marriage, what have you been doing? What happened next? So after you met these people, what happened next?
After that, I got the support I needed, and then I moved out from my mother-in-law, and then start a new life. Met a new, community, Catholic community again, and then, yeah, I move on. Life goes on, yeah.
So you've moved around Birmingham. What's your experience of that been?
Okay, when I came, I moved to Handsworth, yeah, and the parish I attend to is St. Francis of Assisi in Handsworth in Hunters Road. The community there, they are quite welcoming because there we have different, diversity. Everyone, we have the Polish, we have everybody, in the community. So it's quite welcoming, where you see a lot of people. It's a very big parish, and there's so many activities going on in the parish as well. So what I used to do that time is join the St. Vincent de Paul. So we visit elderly people, help them with washing and all those, tidying up and, cleaning their home. That's what I was doing then. And then before I moved to Eddington, so I met a lovely community there as well. There's so much activities going on in the church community. So I engage in so many fundraising activities in the church, and the area is quite good as well. Yeah, moving back there. Yeah.
So what were some of the activities that you did with the church?
I sing in the choir, so I wouldn't brag over it. But people will say, "Oh, you have a lovely voice." So I play important part in the church. So we sing, and then we do other charity, work as well. Like after the mass, we'll have a coffee morning where everyone meets together. Then we'll serve people with, coffee there. At the end of the day, we clean the hall and tidy up, the place here.
So the Nigerian mass once a month, what happens then?
After the mass starts at 2 p.m., then we'll sing, at the end of the mass, we'll have refreshments. Everyone brings something so we can share with each other, and we eat, enjoy. If you're having a birthday, we'll celebrate it together. If you're having a christening, we celebrate it together as well as a community. So it's quite good, and people dress in so many outfits, and I used to, when I'm wearing my African attire, so I got so much compliment because I would love to walk on the street or be on the bus. Oh, people will be admiring. Oh, your address is beautiful, So I love it a lot because that's what represents where I come from. So got so many compliments, when I wear my Nigerian outfit. Yeah.
So what's it like being a migrant and Nigerian migrant in Birmingham?
Well, it's quite good, meeting people with different culture, with different ethnicity, it's good because back home, we only used to seeing the blacks, back home, but here everyone, you just see a lot of people, in different ways, so yeah.
Okay. So tell me about your marriage in the UK.
It was a very, very difficult one, so marry somebody who I would say my ex is just from a different culture because he doesn't know how to treat a woman. He just in a different ways and everything. So I went through domestic violence, physically, emotional, psychologically, everything, all the abuse, name them. So I went through a lot of them. So I managed to be out from it. So, and my life today, I went through hell, within that, all these things happened within 7 months of my stay in the UK. That's when the marriage didn't last that long. It was just 7 months in relationship, and we found out we are not compatible. He hits me, he abused me, so many things. So,
So how do you think your son's experience growing up in the UK is different?
And there's not much different because I being born in Nigeria, so all the things I learned from my parents, I'm still teaching him. Like, he understands my language. That's the most important thing. I teach him my language. He understands my language a lot. At home, all our conversation is in Igbo language. Then obviously when he goes out in nurseries and all those things, he speaks on understanding English. But at home, it's compulsory that he will learn. I will speak, my language to him, which he understands. So he attended since he was born. He attended 3 different nurseries. because I go with him anytime I have lectures in Wolverhampton. I take him along. The university have nursery. I registered him there. That's where he started with when he was 10 months old. Then I registered him in Newtown, Bradley Center, Children's Center, where he goes at the moment. So, yeah.
How do you feel about telling your story?
Like in the part of my, my relationship, it's quite relieving. So I feel like, by saying it, by sharing my experience, I'm a bit relieved, Yeah.
And how do you feel about talking about your past with the people that you might not have otherwise talked to?
Because I go to uni, I meet so many people, I talk to different people, so, it's not a new thing. So I'm used to it, talking to people I've met before, so, yeah.
So do you have any thoughts about how your story might affect the ideas and opinions about migration that people in Birmingham have?
No, I don't think it will have any, Yeah, I think, my story and my, my experience here, I think it might encourage people to, to learn, about Nigerian culture, and, it will help them to really understand what is it like, living in Nigeria and coming over here. So I think it will have an impact in them. Yeah.
Do you mind saying children in movement in Igbo, please?
Okay, it means ụmụaka na-eje eje.
Brilliant, thank you.